Hello, Flat Rock students. I'm really excited to talk to you today about the biographies in our library. This is one of my favorite kind of books to read, and I hope that you are going to find some books here that you also want to read. First, what is a biography? Hey, if you said it's a book about a person, then you are exactly right. Now, what is an autobiography? That is a book about a person written by that person. So if there was a book on our shelves about George Washington, remember he was our first president, and it was written by George Washington, well, that's an autobiography. But if it's a book about George Washington written by someone else, then it's just a biography. Either way, they're going to all be found in this section I'm about to tell you about. The biographies are the 92s and the 920s. I will tell you the difference. Let's dive in. You can see that these books are in the section where it says 900s because it starts with 9 and it's just easier to throw them all in over there together. This is our last section. You see this orange quilt right here, and our doors over there are popular series books here. Well, this is the section that you're going to for our biographies. All right, here it is. It's on this left side running down. You can see right here I have a sign, 92, biography. These are our books about people, individual people. And you can see we have quite a few of them in this library. It starts here with the A's, and then down here, up here, down here, up here, down here. So we have 3 whole sections, top and bottom, filled with biographies. And I'll tell you something else really cool. Most of these biographies are picture books. Now, that doesn't mean that they're easy to read or that they're baby books, but they pack a lot of meat in there, but you're not committing to a really, really long chapter book. So you can get great facts and information and learn about some really cool people without committing to spending weeks and weeks reading that book. So you can read from biography to biography. And then when you're at home, you can be like, hey, did you know that so-and-so did this? And they had the world record for that. And you'll be filled with all kinds of information you're sharing because you're able to read through these books pretty quickly because most of them are not terribly long. All right, let's take a sneak peek at just a few of the books in this area. Because see, a biography is about any kind of person. So we've got sports figures. We've got politicians. We've got inventors. We've got all kinds of things, anything, because all kinds of people live in our world, right? And everybody's different and unique and does cool stuff. So there's all kinds of different topics in this biography section. All right, first, let me show you how to find it. I've pulled this book out a little bit. It's called Just Like Beverly, and this is a story about Beverly Cleary. Now, if you know Beverly Cleary, you know she's an author. She's written all kinds of great books I loved when I was a kid and that are still classics today, and we have in our library in the fiction section. So that's a whole nother topic if you want to get some books by Beverly Cleary. But this book is about the author, Beverly Cleary. Now, it was not written by Beverly Cleary, but in the biography section, you can find every book filed by who it's about. So it doesn't matter who wrote the book about Beverly Cleary. It is going to be here under CLE, the first 3 letters of Beverly Cleary's last name. So if there were a book about George Washington, let's leave that as an example again, it's going to be under WAS for Washington. And if there was a book about Abraham Lincoln, it's going to be under what? LIN for Lincoln. So really, if you want a biography, you don't have to know who wrote it. If you know the person's name you're looking for, just go to this section and look at their last name, and you'll find all the books on that person because they're all filed based on who it's about. Doesn't matter who the author is. So let's see now this book, Just Like Beverly, right here. So this is a book about an author, the man who loved libraries, a very famous person, Andrew Carnegie. He was also a very wealthy businessman in our country. He used his money to help start and fund libraries. That might be a fun book to read about. And then just to show you the variety, Nadia Comaneci was a Russian gymnast. She got perfect 10s at the Olympics in 1976. we have a book about her. It might be something that you're interested in reading. All right, moving on down the line. And remember, I said most of them were picture books, but you can see this one right here is a little thicker and longer, as is this one and this one. You can just kind of see by the outside what's longer or not. It just depends how much you want to read, how committed you are to it. Look at this one. Real Friends and Best Friends. I know you already know these because these are graphic novels, but they are still excellent. And it's about the author's life. It's a biography, so it's tucked in this section. There are some treasures here. All right, let's look at some more. Whoosh. This one, you might recognize. It was one of the battle books on the award nominee list last year about an inventor. Counting on Catherine. She worked for NASA and did great things for the spaceship program. And then Balderdash, which is a game, but this is about the birth of children's books. So if you want to find out some fun facts and how they started, there you go. You could get these books. Going on down, we've got one about Amelia Earhart, Long-Armed Ludi. She was in one of the first Olympics. And Papa is a Poet. This is a book about Robert Frost, a very, very famous American poet. Look, none of these are long books. They've all been packed with fun information, and that I think you're going to really enjoy and want to read. All right, moving on down, Ada Lovelace. She was one of the first people involved in coding with computers. Fancy party gowns. Have you ever thought about who invents these really fancy ball gowns and wedding dresses? Well, here's a book about one of the inventors. And my brother Martin Luther King Jr., we got a lot of great books about him, all in this section. All right. Some writer, the author E.B. White, who wrote Charlotte's Web. Y'all, that's a classic. I love that story. And the movie, well, you can read about the author and learn a little bit about him. Paper Son, which is a really inspiring story about an immigrant who came to America and what happened during his life. And Emmanuel's Dream. Oh, this is one of my favorites. This is a boy in Africa. You can see that he is missing part of his leg, but he wanted to go to school so bad that he would walk or crawl there over a mile each way every day. And later on in life, he was able to get a bike and help others, and just a really great and inspiring story. Again, short stories that are great to read. All right, let's keep moving down. Look, we've got Tim Tebow, famous athlete. We've got the author J.R.R. Tolkien, how he was inspired to write some of his great books. Donald Trump. We've got a lot of the presidents over there. And have you ever worried or ever wondered about King Tut in ancient Egypt? Well, we have a book about him too. All right, now I want to move to the 920s, which are also biographies. They're collective biographies. The only difference is in 92s, everything we just talked about, it was a book about one person. The 920s have multiple people in them. So these are in alphabetical order by the author, because which person in the book would you file it under, right? So it's by the author. But let me give you an example what I'm talking about. This book right here has every one of our nation's presidents. All 45 presidents are in that book. So you can't really file it under all 45 last names, right? So we just do it under the author, but this is where you find it. You ever wondered about Bible characters or about kids who grew up in the White House? If there's 45 presidents, there's a whole lot more kids. And what about some stories about some daring women and things they've done? Now, these are just 4 of the books in that section. There are a lot of books over there, but the collective biographies, 920s, include biographies of more than one person inside. All right. Hope you've enjoyed this section. Hope you will find some books there. This is a place I like to camp out and just read and read and read and read until I get through them, because they're so fascinating. So maybe you'll check out one of these today. I will see you soon. Bye-bye.